Pulled pork on the Weber Kettle. Let me show you how easy it is. The charcoal bag is ready to be dumped in. Today is your lucky day. We're cooking a pork butt on our trusty Weber Kettle 22-inch. The first thing I'm gonna do, you can see I've got it semi-cleaned out. I cook on this thing a lot. So I've got my air settings down here, all right? So if I run this wide open, that's gonna be wide open where that line's at right here. But if I come back to that, I know that I'm barely gonna be open right here. Looking at these grates here, I'm barely gonna be open right here. So that's where I'm gonna put my air setting at. And I'm taking a disposable aluminum pan here, and I'm gonna kind of spread this kind of against the back of this cooker wall here, just like this. So it kind of get me some coverage, right? Now, I'm fixing to build me a snake all around this thing. And I'm gonna stack this up the side walls. Now you can take your time and layer everything around all nice and neat. And I've done all that before too. But just come in here and stacking this charcoal up, that'll work just fine too. All right, that looks good. Let's grab some wood chunks to put on here to give us a little bit of smoke. Now I guess I need to check my rack and make sure it's gonna fit with as much charcoal as I have in there. So I might have to adjust that. No, that looks perfect there. I'm gonna leave that alone. Now, let's remove this and let's fire this thing up. All right, I'm gonna take about 10 pieces of charcoal here, and I'm gonna stack them in the corner of my chimney, and I'm gonna get ready to light them up with some roll-up tumbleweeds. Once these 10 coals kind of light over, I'll dump them in my corner here and get started cooking. And it'll be time to put on that pork butt. Let's get started. All right, we're keeping this pork butt very simple today. I've got a 7.5 pound pork butt I picked up from Kroger yesterday. They had a heck of a sale going on when I walked by, $1.69 a pound, so you know I had to grab one. I'm not gonna do very much trimming of this, but you can see on the money muscle here, some of this hard fat and tissue. You wanna be sure you get some of that off. Just go in there and just trim that off. Now I come up here on some of this heavy fat. I kind of go down and just go right around and pull all that off just like that. So cooking on this Weber here, you know, you really just want to let your coals kind of get caught up, kind of get established first. And you just want to take off anything that you see that you don't like. If you don't want to do any trimming to this pork butt, don't do it. So this fat cap here, it don't have a huge fat cap on it, not a ton of hard fat. I'm honestly gonna leave that on there, that little bit of false cap right here. It's not much. Trim some of this off. Now, once you get a little bit of that off, I'm gonna curve this right here, some of that fat. And I think I'm gonna about call it a day on that butt. Well, I see one more little spot here with a little gland in it that I wanna get. I'm gonna get this last little bit of hard fat right here. All right, I'm gonna leave that pork butt alone right there. I'm gonna leave these little bit of trimmings to the side here. I can use them in some sausage later on. So I'm not gonna use a binder or anything. I'm gonna remove one of my gloves. I'm going down with a base coat of that garlic jalapeno first. If you don't have my garlic jalapeno, use anything that you have or anything you've got. Salt, pepper, garlic. This one's got a little bit of heat in it from that jalapeno powder. Once you kind of get all your garlic jalapeno kind of rubbed on, you know, then I'm gonna come back with that competition barbecue rub. That's what I'm using today. You're welcome to use any good barbecue flavor that you like. There's a lot of good ones out there. Now you can apply as little or as much seasoning as you like on this butt. It's completely up to you. Everybody has a different idea of how much seasoning they should use. Now, once I get that seasoned up, I bet my charcoal is ready to dump out in my Weber. So let's get over here and dump this charcoal out and get ready to get this butt on the grill. All right, looking at our coals here, you can see they're about ashed over in the middle. I've still got a little bit of black left on them, which is fine with me. I've got a good fire going. Take and dump that in there right there like that. I'm gonna take this last chunk of wood right here and kind of nestle right here, right up beside that. And that should give me some good smoke all the way around this pork butt here. So now that I've done that, I want to get my grate on. But before I do that, I'm gonna take this pan here and kind of dump some of this ash out from where I burnt that chimney down in that. I'm gonna leave this grate off. I'm gonna give it about another 15 minutes to kind of come up to temp right here with this charcoal dumped out before I put a lid on and kind of stabilize it. The big thing about running your Weber low and slow, you want to make sure you give it enough oxygen up front to stabilize your temp at around 275 to 300 degrees, whatever you want to run at. It's completely up to you, and it's completely how long you want to be out today cooking on your Weber. All right, as you can see, we're running about 275, 280 degrees right now. I'm gonna keep watching it, make sure I stabilize it at about 275 to 300. I don't want it to get over 300. You can see I've got a nice little coal bed going on here. So I'm gonna stick my butt in here right over this pan, just like this. Got plenty of airflow. I'm gonna get my lid back on. It's gonna be a long day, but this Weber's gonna do its job. When you load it up with charcoal like that, with that roll oak supersize, we're gonna get a long burn time to ensure that we get a good quality cook on our pork butt. We'll be back in a couple hours to check on it. We're gonna peek at it about every 15, 20 minutes, make sure our temp is stabilized around 275, 300 degrees. We'll be back in a couple hours to see what she looks like, see if it needs spritzing. All right, we've been on 1 hour and 45 minutes. You can see our temp is holding steady here. So I've got a little bit of water in a water bottle. Let's get in here and peek at our butt, and I'm gonna get the grill lid back on it pretty quick. I don't wanna lose all the heat that I've got. I know this butt's gonna take a while. Oh yeah, look at that. Nice and pretty. Get my Weber lid back on. I'm not gonna peek at it for another couple hours. I'm gonna let it go. So let's leave it alone. We'll see where it's at after about 4 hours. All right, we've had our Boston butt on our Weber here for 4 hours, getting some good smoke from that roll oak charcoal and a little bit of hickory wood. So let's get in here real quick. Oh, would you look at that? That butt looks beautiful. Let's see where we're at here. We're at about 150 degrees. And you can see we're about, I don't know, not even quite halfway around here. So I'm gonna get that lid back on this thing. I'm gonna let that butt go for at least another hour before I wrap it up. So I'm gonna give it 5 hours in the smoke, wrap it up, we'll go from there. We'll be back in an hour. All right, we're 5 hours in our pork butt smoking on our Weber. I'm gonna get the lid off here. Oh, would you look at that? Beautiful color, beautiful bark. We're hitting 160 degrees in the center, perfect color. Let's get it off. Oh, would you look at that? Let's get it over here to the cutting board. We have an incredible color on this butt here. As you can see, it's barked up good. Nothing's coming off of it. Let's look at the bottom side here. Bottom side looks real good. Now, I'm gonna get in here, I'm gonna take these gloves off now. I'm gonna take a half a bottle of this competition barbecue sauce that I've got left over, and I'm gonna drizzle some on this butt. Just a little bit there. Now, let's get this thing wrapped up and get it back on the grill. Now that we get that butt all wrapped up nice and tight, let's get it back over here to our Weber now that it's all wrapped up tight. Get a chef's alarm in it, and let it go till it hits 203 degrees, and we'll check it for tenderness. Let's get it back on. I'm gonna take my chef's alarm, kind of get it off in that butt there. I better get the lid on this, that wood's starting to kick up. And I'm gonna let it go here. Now I'm just gonna set my chef's alarm right here on the edge and let it go till it gets 203 to 205 degrees. After that, we'll get in here, let our butt rest, pull it, and you know it's gonna be good. We'll get ready to make a sandwich. All right, you can see our chef's alarm is going off. We actually got our butt up to 210 degrees internal. It hit 207 on one end and 210 on the other. And I'm just gonna feel, I'm gonna poke through the, oh yeah. Yeah, like butter right there. That's what I'm looking for. So I'm just gonna remove my chef's alarm out of here and I'm gonna set it to the side over here. Now I've got me an aluminum pan here. I'm gonna set it over here and I'm gonna pick this Boston butt up, put it in here, and I'm gonna grab that off. Now, before I close this lid, I want you guys to look at everything. I put that supersized charcoal in here. Now I used my pan method, and I didn't use the things that come with it. You can see that charcoal is just burnt to right there. We've had a total cook time. This grill's been going almost 8 hours, and we've still got charcoal left. So you guys tell me in the comments below, you ready for me to cook a brisket on a Weber? I'll show you how. All right, now that our butt is off the grill here, I'm gonna let it rest on the counter for at least an hour before I tear into it. It really needs about 2 hours, but an hour will be fine. So we'll be back in about an hour to shred this meat, and you know it's gonna be money. All right, our Boston butt that we cooked on our Weber has been resting a little over an hour. Now I slid it inside of this new Rest Ease barbecue blanket from Barbecue Drip Ease. These things are pretty great. I met these guys at an event I was at, left my gloves in there. And these things work great. You can find them online, and they work great for holding your ribs or butts to rest in. If you don't have a cooler or anything at home, they work great. So to get into this Boston butt here, ooh, it smells good first off. Let's get in here and unwrap it. Ooh, look at that, guys. Let's peel that back. Look at that blade bone just come right out of there. Woo! That is a warm butt. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna get some heat gloves on underneath this. There's no way I can tackle this without them. But y'all know I gotta have a little nibble of that. Oh my God. Flavor is incredible. Wow. Let me get on some heat gloves, I'll be right back. All right, now that I've got on some heat gloves here, I'm gonna take and rake, see that little bit of false cap right there? That's not very much, but it's still got some pork in it there. You just gotta move that a little bit of fat off of it there. That's all, but look right there. There, right there is some good flavor right there. I'm gonna have another bite of this. I can't help myself. Probably one of the best butts that I've cooked. That's old school traditional flavor right there. So when you turn that blade bone upside down here, I guess I better peel that off, huh? You see it almost like a chopper. You can take that and just go in here and start twisting that butt around and break it up where it's not near as hot. Get some of this fat off here. Now I'm gonna go to shredding this in this new pan that I have right here. Let me kind of pull this back. Oh yeah, this is cooked perfect. Look at that, just shredding like butter. Well, there's not very much left in this pan here, as you can see. Well, I almost dumped it on myself. I could be nitpicky and get a few more little pieces of meat out there, but there's really no need in that. Now I'm gonna take this back here and just kind of, ooh-wee. All right, let's get these gloves off and get ready to build a sandwich. All right, now that we've got our Boston butt all shredded up, I've got a good brioche style bun here. It's all good and pillowy soft. I'm gonna take a good handful of that pulled pork, y'all. And when I say a good handful, I mean a good handful. You gotta have, if it ain't falling off the bun, that's not a good sandwich. So I'm gonna set that to the side now. And you know, one thing before I put some slaw on this sandwich, you gotta have a little bit of that vinegar sauce on it. And I can tell y'all, this tangy vinegar barbecue sauce on a pulled pork sandwich, it doesn't get any better. Drizzle a little bit of that on there. I've got some good tongs here for a good vinegar-based coleslaw that I made up. You can check out the recipe down below. Oh yeah. And that's what I call a pulled pork sandwich. Done perfect on the Weber. Anybody can cook this. This recipe is so simple, so easy, a caveman could do it. Let's do a little recap. We took our Weber kettle, put a half pan, disposable pan in it, poured charcoal all around and pulled it to one side. Stacked in 5 or 6 hickory wood chunks all around. We lit 7 or 8 coals, put them on one end, let that grill get up to 250 degrees. I adjusted the vents, got it on up to about 275 to 300. And it come along and it held about 285 to 290 all day long. And it's still running right now. And we're over 10 hours into this cook because this butt has rested and everything. So the Weber kettle will produce amazing pulled pork or brisket. So this sandwich right here, we put it on. It had a total cook time of about 5 hours before we wrapped it up. We only spritzed it with water one time and had a beautiful color because we seasoned it with that one and only Competition barbecue rub right there. If you don't have it, you can pick it up in a local store or use your favorite at home. It's completely up to you. We turn around, wrap that butt up. It stayed cooked for another 2.5 hours before it hit 206, 207 degrees. I probed it. It run on up to about 210 before it felt like butter. And man, that butt, you've seen how it pulled. It's got the perfect bite. I've tasted it once, but now this sandwich is built with our amazing tangy vinegar barbecue sauce on it and that vinegar-based coleslaw. Let's get in here and give it a try. So I gotta mash it down. And you know what they say, if the meat's not falling off the bun, that's not a sandwich. So let's get in here and give this thing a bite. Wow, the simple smoke of this pork butt on a Weber kettle that anybody can do, it just takes me back to being at home with my parents growing up. It really shows you how simple barbecue can be and how easy and how good it is. Remember, if you like what we're doing on our channel, be sure to like, subscribe, follow along with your friends. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Pinterest, and of course YouTube. I'll see you next week with another video.